Vladimir Putin cannot accept the collapse of the Russian Empire.
We have lost, Russia has lost colossal territories in the west, in the north. It recovered gradually, and then there was also the collapse of the Soviet Union. Which of the triggers has provoked the detonation of this dramatic situation? If that wouldn't happen, we would have another country.
There are quite a few myths about the Russian Empire in the Russian Federation. As Putin, the kings of Moscow and later of Russia, called Tsars, understood that it was impossible to create a great nation and a great empire without a great past, and to complete the occupation of the Slavic peoples. For this, it was necessary to subtract their historical past and even to appropriate what belonged to others. That is why it was accepted the decision to instill in people's heads for many years the lie that Moscow as a big brother of three peoples, Ukraine, Russian Federation and Belarus, deserves the title of the owner of the legacy of the ancient kingdom called Rus and its culture as well. Rus, the Grand Duchy of Kiev, which appears in the historical documents of Europe and Greece in 882. Peter the Great renamed his state from Muscovy to Russian Empire only in 1721. More amusing than this could only be the title of the Greek-Russian Emperor, which he took for himself during a military campaign against Turkey in 1711. Of course, because of this fantastic title, Peter did not become a Greek, but he signed a document of surrender with the Turks, which for some reason is called the Pruth Peace Treaty in the Russian Federation. But this is the subject for another video. Let's go back to Muscovy. Why Muscovites needed exactly the history of Rus, which appeared 300 years before appearance of Muscovy? And how did Muscovy itself appear? Why was it called Muscovy? A tribe called Moksha, who lived on the territory of today's Moscow, called the river Moskva, which in the translation of the Moksha language sounds like dirty water. The word Moscow or Moskva in Russian is not translated from any other language of the world. The word Kremlin is Tatar and means fortification on the hill. It should be understood that before the appearance of the Muscovite kingdom as such, the lands of present-day Russia were inhabited by many wild Finno-Ugric tribes, such as Meria, the present-day city of Tver and Novgorod, Chud, the present-day Arkhangelsk, Erzia, the territory of the present-day city of Ryazan of the Russian Federation, and others. Their lands were called Suzdal land. At the same time, in the Grand Duchy of Kiev, now known as Ukraine, the king Monomach lived with his sons. Yuri, one of the youngest sons of Monomach, was left by fate without a princely throne, and according to the laws of the time was forced to go to the service of brothers and uncles or create his own army to go in search of the conquest of his own throne. So Yuri Dolgoruki, or Yuri Long Arms, came to the swampy lands of Suzdal, where he seized Moscow, killed its local governor named Kuchka, made the murdered man's wife his concubine, and married his daughter to his son Andrei Bogolubsky, or God-loving Andrei. After the events described above, the kingdom of Muscovy was formed on the lands of Suzdal as the property of the Golden Horde in 1277, with the permission of the Mongol Khan Mengu Timur, who took these lands under his control and forced Yuri Dolgoruki and his descendants to pay tribute for many years. and then paid tribute to the Crimean Khan until 1700. The King of Muscovy met with the Crimean ambassador on the hill Poklonnaya, or the Hill of Reverence, which is now located in Moscow near the Victory Park, a memorial complex in honor of the victory in World War II. The Tsar mounted the Khan on his horse and took him to the Kremlin holding the reins. Upon arrival, he put the Khan on his throne and knelt for 400 years. In the Middle Ages, all the map-makers of Europe wrote and drew the border of Europe along the borders of Rus. Rus is the territory of today's Ukraine and not Russian Federation. Muscovy is a vassal of the Golden Horde with its tribes Finns, has always been part of the Horde. Therefore, Europe rightly attributed it to Asia, and that is why the son of Yuri Dolgoruki, brought up in the culture of the Muscovy tribes, having lost his sense of belonging to the culture of Rus, remorselessly led his barbarian troops to Kiev, burning houses, killing women and children, and then stole the icon of the Holy Mother of God from Tsar Vladimir. Since these ancient times, Muscovites have been hunting for the legacy of a great nation to this day, trying to hide the unpleasant moments of their history, stealing the name of a foreign state, positioning themselves more like Europeans than Asian slaves of the Mongol Khan. On February 24th of 2022, Putin made another attempt to appropriate Kiev's patrimony with the same pettiness and treachery as his ancestors as part of the Golden Horde. And that is why the war between the Russian Federation and Ukraine is much more than just a war in terms of economic and territorial interests.